All right, and we are here, 11:01 Eastern time. What time is it there for you, Morgan?
It's 4 p.m.
4 p.m.
Yeah, mid-afternoon.
Almost time to hit the pub. All right, so we got people popping in. 1820. Go ahead, feel free to use that chat. Tell me where you are listening in from today. We are here to talk about kittens and puppies. No, I'm kidding. We're here to talk about HaloPSA and Liongard, which we are so excited about. 34 participants. Here we come. Let me know where you are listening from. I am in sunny Florida. I will start the chat. Where is everyone listening to us from today? Is it pub time or coffee time?
I'm joining you in not sunny Florida, but definitely sunny Ocean City, Maryland here.
Yes.
And I'm here in sunny Stowmarket. Yeah, sprawling metropolis that it is.
Chat is disabled. Okay. You know what? We're going to figure that out. Thank you for letting me know that, Mr. Pajovic. Why is the chat disabled? Okay. I'm going to get someone on that right now. Thank you. It might just be one of those days. All right. We are here to talk about the all-new integration between HaloPSA and Liongard. Oh, look, I see someone texting or chatting in. So I think
There we go.
We know how to do IT things. It's so exciting. So we got Austin and Washington, Shakespearestown, Stratford-upon-Avon. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Hooray!
Nice.
Netherlands. Everyone, coffee time. Yep. Geneva, Switzerland. Awesome. All right. We are literally all over the world, which is awesome. I love that because everybody needs IT and everybody needs awesome integrations. And that is what we are here to talk about today. Morgan, can you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Yeah. Hi. I'm a consultant at HaloPSA. Primarily work as part of the onboarding team. I'm sure some people in the chat will have spoken to me before. My primary focus is to take people new to HaloPSA, teach them how it works, and get the system set up to suit their needs.
That is amazing. And I did not introduce myself. I'm Cynthia. I'm with Liongard. I'm our director of community, and I'm just going to be here to make sure that we get off to a smooth start, and then I'm going to sweep in at the end and help out with the Q&A. Also from Liongard here, we have Scott Davis, our lead sales engineer. Say hello, Scott.
Hello, everyone. Scott Davis, the lead sales engineer here at Liongard. Having some technical fun this morning, as you know, we always do. We're working remotely as we brought the kids down to the beach today, but working from the hotel. I got, I think, everything up and running, so we're ready for a great presentation. But I've been with Liongard for 2 years. Before that, I spent 6 years in the MSP space. So a lot of the issues, a lot of that service issues, you know, that you're having trouble with, I probably had issues with this. I probably had issues with as well. So looking forward to share my experience and super excited to see people across the globe here this week.
All right, great. I think in the background, we've got John, and he is going to go ahead and share the screen for us. So we're going to get this started. And don't be shy with those questions. Pop them in there, and I will make sure that they get answered for you, okay? And away we go.
All right, hello, everyone. Oh, there we go. I'll teach you a little bit about Liongard. Liongard was founded in 2015 by our co-founders, Joe Alapat and Vincent Tran. You can see they're their CEO and COO today. Liongard is privately held. We are venture-backed. We have roughly 100 employees, nearly 2,000 MSP partners and growing. I had so much fun hitting every one of those milestones over the last 2 years, you know, being part of it. 70 plus vendor integrations. I like to say we have 80 plus vendor integrations, but there are only 72 of them in production, but we do have a whole lot more in our roadmap that you can see and play with. So let's go over to the next slide. So running an MSP is harder than ever before. And if you think about all the different portals that you have to access, all the different logins, all the different portals that you log into, and it's not just logging into the portal, but it's logging in for each tenant's portal. If you think about what's in your stack, you have firewalls, you have switches, you have cloud services, and oftentimes you're logging in tenant by tenant or customer by customer. And running that MSP, it gets harder and harder and harder. And you never really get a grip on it. And that's why you have that guy kind of there in the center. He's worried, he's stagnating, he's just not making any progress. He's literally pulling his hair out. And why that is challenging is the operational advantage. And when we talk operational advantage here at Liongard, what we're really talking about is getting the data in front of you to gain that operational advantage, or that Liongard deep data. When you look at data collection, you're doing it manually today. You're going around to all these different systems and you're saying, okay, on my firewalls is port 3389 open. In Microsoft 365, are MFAs enabled or disabled? That's all manual work. It's a manual audit task done by hand, done by one of typically your senior people. And it takes a lot of time. I remember trying to manually do this. With Liongard's deep data, we gain that operational advantage where you're no longer worried, you're no longer stagnated, because Liongard's going to automatically go out to all these different inspectors, 70 plus of them, give you that deep data from your cloud, your network, your applications, and even your endpoints. By automatically inspecting the customer's documents, environments from the cloud to the endpoint, transforming that messy, hard to reach configuration data into that centralized data asset. We allow you to audit your configuration continuously to detect changes. Very often, I refer to it almost as best practices, where you can set Liongard up to run your best practice analyzer for your entire stack. So when you onboard a new customer, if that configuration doesn't match what you want within your thresholds, you're getting that alert, you're getting that notification at the alert level that you need. This is what allows you to connect and fuel your workflows. And that's that operational advantage, that automated documentation, the ability to accelerate your onboarding, verify your customers are secure and compliant, troubleshooting customer issues faster than ever before, and even the capability of reconciling your billing. So that's a quick overview of Liongard. I think I'm going to hand it over real quick for Morgan to do an overview of HaloPSA.
Cool, yeah.
I'm going to jump into some demos.
That's some impressive growth since 2015 for sure. And yeah, I think it's a really cool product that you have. And another really cool product that's out there is HaloPSA. So HaloPSA, it's been around for about 30 years now. So if you just jump over to the next slide, please. So yeah, it's a company that's been around for 30 years, formerly Net Help Desk, and we started off as a Windows-based application. More recently moved to a web app using React in the front end. So we have 30 years of functionality, some really mature features, and learn the best way to do things and some of the not so best way to do things along the way. And yeah, it all sits behind a React web app using a REST API, so it's all really snappy. So it feels sharp, it's quick, but it's mature at the same time. Yeah, we've got approximately the same amount of employees, and they're situated here in the UK, over in America and in Australia as well. So that's 24/7 support. Wherever you are on the planet, someone's going to be able to pick up the phone and help you with your issues. HaloPSA is, a full PSA, so it tracks everything that you need as an MSP, all the way from initial prospect engagement through that sales cycle, any sort of project management, for onboarding, all the way through to automated billing, so you can make sure that you get paid, with minimal manual intervention. Again, we have dozens of integrations, and I'm really looking forward to showing the world one more today.
Drum roll, please, for live demo time. All right, Scott, you ready? And frozen. Hey, Morgan, are you ready to do a live demo of HaloPSA and see what we're going to be pulling over from Liongard? I have a feeling it's a lot of data.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you want me to share my screen now, or should we wait to see if Scott is gonna jump back in?
I think you should go ahead and share your screen now.
Awesome. Yeah, cool. Let me share that. Cool. Hopefully you can see that.
Ooh, that's a pretty dashboard.
It's cool, isn't it? It didn't take me too long to whip up, but I've definitely seen some really neat dashboards in my time. So yeah, the primary focus of the integration between Liongard and HaloPSA from our perspective is to pull in all of your client data and pull those systems in from Liongard as well. So you have one place to manage all of those entities, so you can of course track your alerts against any systems, and tie that in with all of your other client engagements and any billing as well. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is how you actually set the integration up, and some of the features around the integration itself. So if we head over to the configuration panel within HaloPSA, and we go to integrations, and we'll see in the vast list of integrations that we have at our disposal, we have Liongard over here. And once you connect Liongard to your HaloPSA instance, the first thing you'll be able to do is import your customers into HaloPSA. Now, a very common situation that occurs is you have these different systems, and the naming convention between clients within those systems might slightly differ. So what you can do in HaloPSA is actually manually map Halo sites to Liongard customers. So you don't have to worry about aligning all of those naming conventions. You can actually establish manual mappings in here. Once you've done that, you can go ahead, import your customers. I'll bring everything in. Once you set that up, the next thing that you'll want to do is head down to the asset import section, where you can set a default site. So this is just going to be the site that these assets are sort of located in HaloPSA if the site hasn't already been imported from Liongard. So it's just for those fringe cases. Below that, you can then establish the assets type in HaloPSA from the fields available in Liongard, in particular the inspector alias. And then, of course, below that, you can group all of those assets that are being imported into Halo from Liongard. And what I did for today's session is I created a Liongard systems asset group, and we'll see how that looks in a moment. And I've placed all of the assets into that group. Now, again, there might be situations where you already have assets in Halo before they're imported into Liongard, imported from Liongard. If that's the case, you can use this asset matching field to establish a unique identifier for assets in Halo. And what that's going to do is that's just going to stop any duplication of assets. It's going to allow the importing from Liongard to match on an existing asset and update that data as opposed to creating any duplicates. And below that, one of my favorite features is this field mappings table. So you can actually pick the information from Liongard that you want to import into HaloPSA. You can go a step further than that. You can actually pick the field in HaloPSA that you're importing into. So a couple of examples I've included in here is I'm just saying the Liongard name field is going to equate or is going to populate the HaloPSA asset number or asset tag field. And you'll see you can add to this list where you can pick from the available Liongard fields, those which haven't already been added into the field mapping table. And you can then map that to an existing HaloPSA asset field. Now, if there isn't one already in here, you can just go ahead and actually have HaloPSA create a new asset field with this name upon the import. So I can save that. Then all I have to do is come down here and click import assets. And that is going to pull everything in and start bringing those assets into Halo. Let me just stop that. Now, not only can we pull data into Liongard, we can actually push data back to Liongard. In particular, we can sync customers from HaloPSA over to Liongard. And that's just a case of making sure that we have our syncing to Liongard option enabled. At which point we can pick whether we want to manually sync our customers or automatically sync them. So, you might, going back to what I mentioned a moment ago, you might have a new prospect, you go through that sales cycle, you can then create a customer in HaloPSA from that opportunity, which would then push that over to Liongard. Now, everything that we've mentioned there with regards to importing from Liongard into HaloPSA would be a manual process. However, that's not, of course, that's not going to be ideal. The chances are you're going to want to have that happen behind the scenes. You don't have to worry about coming in here and clicking import asset every time you add new systems into Liongard. So what you can do is you can enable this for the Halo integrator, which is a tool we use behind the scenes to run those imports on an automated basis. And at that point, you can pick whether you want to import the customers into Halo, the assets into Halo, or both. And then finally, we can specify whether an asset in Halo is active or not, based on whether that asset is found in Liongard. So again, you don't have to worry about your assets in Liongard getting out of sync with those in Halo. As soon as you remove an asset from Liongard, when Halo searches for that, the next time it runs that sync, it won't find it and it will simply mark that asset as an active. So once you've done all your importing, you'll find those customers are going to be in your customers area, just in here. Now, this is going to show you, all of your core engagements with these customers, any incidents they've raised with you, any ongoing projects you have, any contracts or agreements that you have set up with this customer. And you'll also see along here, we have this assets tab. And this is where all of those systems are going to be imported into. So we've got our FreeCX, which has come from Liongard. And if we click into that, that's going to again show us all of our ongoing activity with regards to this asset. So, any tickets that we're logging for this asset, any planned maintenance, any issues that clients are experiencing, will all be stored here. And there's going to be full auditing of all of those tickets, all of those jobs that have come up with regards to the asset. And one point I forgot to mention a moment ago is the customers that are imported from Liongard, you can actually open up directly in Liongard just with one click. And if I had a login, then obviously I'd be able to see that client. But yeah, that's one click from Halo over to the customer in Liongard. There's a couple of rather neat features that you're going to be able to leverage once you bring all of that data in. Because behind the scenes, we're just running a SQL database. We can report on any of the information in that database. So there's great scope for being able to capture and track whatever information it is in the PSA, in HaloPSA that you need to track. Now, if we jump back to our home screen dashboard, I did create a couple of quick reports here. One of them being our top environments. So you'll actually be able to see those environments that are most commonly used. And then if we go down here and we have a look, we can actually go to a report in Halo that I created earlier. That's going to show us our customer and the quantities of each system type that they have. And this could be really handy for being able to establish those systems that one of your clients doesn't have. And it's going to help you sort of perform some more strategic informed marketing. If a client doesn't have AWS, then you might want to approach them regarding getting it and having you manage that. Another pretty cool feature that I quite like is the self-service portal. So not only do we have the agent application that your technicians are sort of working in a day-to-day basis, we also have a self-service portal that your customers can go to raise it and check in on their own issues and requests. And part of that might include creating a full service catalog, providing or returning all of the services that you as the MSP provide. So we could go to our services and products in our self-service portal. And we can see, if I jump into cloud services, we've got some of those systems that we've pulled in from Liongard, and I've created a couple of services for them where customers themselves can come in and request a new service and add it to their stack without you even needing to do that sort of manual outreach. And again, what we can do with our services is actually return the status of them. So we can link our assets to our services in such a way that if we log a problem against an asset, it would update the respective service to denote that there's a fault or planned maintenance or anything like that. I think I did that with our free CX service. So customers can come in here and they can actually check in on the status of the services and when those statuses changed. And that's a quick overview of Halo. There's a couple of other features that I'm happy to discuss, but I'm conscious of the fact that I don't want to steal the limelight here. So Scott, if you're on, be happy to take a look at the Liongard portion of the integration.
Was that the limelight or the lion light?
The lion. I love it.
No, Morgan, that's a really cool presentation. Like, that's some pretty powerful information to have right at your fingertips in your PSA. So that's really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Scott, ready to take it away?
We're going to give it a go. So while Morgan was talking, my internet has been flawless since, but I have a feeling, now that it's my turn, it's going to break up like it just did. Morgan, can I take over the screen share, please?
Absolutely, yeah.
What does Scott
and if there is any connection issues, I'm happy to keep talking HaloPSA.
I love it, Morgan. I love it. All right. So when I look at Liongard, what I'm looking at is overall that deep data collector, that portal that's giving me access to all the data for all my different customers. So one of my favorite companies in here to take a look at is Microsoft's favorite fake company, Contoso Nation. And once this loads here, I'm going to be able to see from a single environment dashboard all of the data that really matters. My firewall information, my switch information, where that's not supposed to happen. I was sitting here going through, clicking different slides. I was making sure everything was working. I clicked on this like 4 times and it worked every 4 times. And of course, now I get into it and it's like, no, I don't want to work anymore.
Being a bit camera shy.
It is being a little camera shy. Now, this is like the Microsoft, the Bill Gates moment when you're going through and you're doing a demo and then it goes to that blue screen of death.
Scott, if you want, you can I can share my screen and you can walk me through it.
Yeah, go ahead and share your screen. And I apologize for this, everybody. I know you guys are looking forward to. Oh, I feel so bad.
Listen, these things happen.
All right. So when I look at this, if we click on Contoso Nation, it gives us that environment dashboard, that view of everything that's going on within that environment. There we go. Now it's loading. And I can see that I have 88 systems. I've had 92 changes over the last 90 days, and I have 42 open alerts for this client. And that gets important because that's telling me, again, that flexibility of Liongard is telling me what of those things are outside of my thresholds, outside of my best practices. It could be a firewall port open on the firewall. It could be an A record was changed in an internet domain. But as you go through, you can see kind of an overall list, highlighting all of the information for my internet domains, my identity monitoring, my Microsoft 365, the cloud services like Microsoft 365, Azure Active Directory. You have Microsoft Azure there. But scroll up and go into one of the internet domains real quick. And inside is where you really see that depth of data. So if we go into contoso.com or Contoso, whichever one you've selected there, you're going to now see that depth of data. And it starts up top with that timeline. That timeline is highlighting the last 18 months of history of what has happened and what is going on within this client environment. So I can go back in time and click on one of those little yellow arrows and actually see changes that have occurred at that date and time. And that's important for when you have that web guy that always tells you that they never make any changes, but they always make the change, that it's now giving us that insight so that we can learn and see exactly what was changed. Oh, you forgot to change the MX record? That configuration drift management right here is crucial for you. Now, Morgan went through and he showed us the whole capability of taking all of this data and dropping, that configuration data or that configuration database into HaloPSA. But we can do even more with it. And it could be actionable alerts, sending those tickets over to you. It could be generated into an email. It could even be generated so that's going into Microsoft Teams for your environment. So there's a lot of different things that we can do just right out of the box, but it's that Liongard depth of data that really we're going to focus on. And ultimately, as I'm having those technical issues, I highly recommend everyone reach out. At the end, we'll have a link for you to see for yourself what this all looks like. But what I want to do next is I want to jump up into the admin section and go to integrations and go into our HaloPSA integration. So there's two different types of integrations that you're going to have with HaloPSA. The first one is the HaloPSA piece that Morgan just showed us. That's that integration piece that HaloPSA built that's taking data out of our configuration database and dropping it right into their platform. That's your CMDB going into their platform. The second piece of it is the integration that's managed by Liongard. That integration is what we're looking at here. We're using the API information from HaloPSA, and we're going to give you the capability. You already are using HaloPSA for your clients, so why not import them and map them into Liongard so you don't have to recreate them here? So the capability of importing your customers from the HaloPSA platform or mapping them if you've already created them inside of Liongard. The second piece of the integration is that ticketing component. The ticketing component of it is what enables you to send those tickets over into HaloPSA. So when I look at this here, you can see real high level ticket type, the default team that's going to get assigned to, your status mapping, priority mapping, being able to choose what matters to you. What is closed actually means to you. What is critical actually to you inside your HaloPSA. So when I look at the Liongard integration, it's super simple in what it does. The root of it all comes down to that depth of data, being able to capture the depth of data that Liongard captures and getting that over into HaloPSA. Now, Morgan and I had a conversation, last Monday, I think we got together, and we went through all of this plus a little bit more. And some of the big takeaways is Liongard captures a ton of data. And a lot of that data may not be available up front in that HaloPSA integration. But over time, with feedback from partners like you that are using both products, we're going to constantly look to improve the integration Liongard has going to HaloPSA and the integration HaloPSA has that's coming from Liongard. So there's a ton of great information, a ton of great assets that we can do. And it all starts with this. Now, another thing that I like to mention whenever I talk about ticketing is the flexibility of our ticketing platform. So John, if we can go up to admin and into actionable alerts. So actionable alerts are based off of metrics. Metrics are the data collectors that are pulling data out of the JSON file. So just to kind of give you that rounded view, Liongard goes out, we run a script, we pull all this data back. We call that the data print. From the data print, we use metrics to pull specific data out. The actionable alert rules are taking that metric of information and highlighting it and saying, okay, these are the thresholds that I want to apply in a case of, go ahead and type in internet domain or expiration in the rule name. Try expiration in the rule name. So if we looked at internet domain expiration, think it's the 8th one down on the list, if I remember correctly, right there. And we click on that, you can see medium priority ticket generated at 30 days, high priority at 15 days, critical priority at 5 days. This is completely customizable for you. Setting the thresholds that matter to you, but also like John's highlighting right now, the body message is also customizable. So being able to customize and put the information in the ticket inside HaloPSA, highlighting why or what needs to be done. It could be text, or it could be a link back to your documentation platform with that SOP. You also can assign different actionable alert templates to different customers. So you could have a customer that wants a higher level of alerting or alerting sent to them directly, maybe they're co-managed. Being able to set that inside of Liongard is part of the flexibility that really makes Liongard deliver that operational advantage that you're getting used to. So that's a really high level of Liongard. I'm trying to save the internet connection when it's working well here at this point. I highly recommend everyone, reach out for a demo if you're not currently a Liongard partner. But I think that slide is coming up here in a minute. So let's switch back over to the Power Deck. And I think we're going into slide 9, if I'm correct.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that how customizable those alert templates are. So you can specify exactly what action needs to be taken, and you can do it per client as well. That's really cool.
No, absolutely. So Morgan, do you want to jump in first and kind of talk a little bit about this slide, and I'll jump back in?
Yeah, sure. So I mean, as you mentioned, Scott, you have that sort of depth of data in Liongard, and I think Halo offers depth in different areas, but obviously not as much when it comes to the tracking of these environments. So what's really cool about the two is you don't only get a depth of data, but you get a breadth as well. So it's one platform, one single pane of glass, as we would like to call it, that has everything that you need to run efficiently as an MSP. The ticketing piece from your side is going to really help MSPs as well, because again, it's one less system to have to check in on to make sure that everything's running smoothly. They're in HaloPSA, as soon as an alert pops up, they know to action it. So it's that one centralized system that is going to allow your technicians to resolve those issues faster than they would if they had to be checking different systems. And again, that final piece of bringing the CMDB from Liongard into Halo, and of course that's also going to be applicable when it comes to aligning that with physical assets that an MSP might want to track. So you have the cloud environments, in Halo via this integration is going to allow an MSP to check in on those cloud environments and also their physical assets, the workstations and servers that a client has that are being managed by the MSP. And again, that SQL database that we have and the flexible reporting capabilities to query that database is going to allow an MSP to extract all of the information that they're going to find most beneficial.
No, I love it. And just to echo, I think you're right on. Being able to import customer environments from Halo or into Liongard, the capability of getting those tickets right into where it matters to you, right where your technicians are working, importing data, back and forth, and ultimately just streamlining the processes that you have now. Like when I deliver this type of a conversation in front of a live audience, or I can see all the faces, it's funny because I see light bulbs go off as I hit certain points. And it's always fun and enjoyable because I know there's so much that Halo can do, and I know there's so much that Liongard can do. So if you take all of the different stuff that both of these tools can do, combine them together using this integration, you resolve your small problems really before you even have to call them a problem. Because now you switch that switch, you flip the switch. So you're no longer a reactive MSP. You become a proactive MSP. once you get the two pieces working in like that puzzle piece together, you get the data you need where you need it. No more being caught by surprise. I think that's one of the biggest struggles we have as MSPs is the constant firefighting. It's you show up Monday morning. Like I never schedule calls Monday morning because I know 90% of the calls Monday morning are going to get canceled because there's a fire. And the reason it's a fire is because we're surprised. And we're surprised because we don't know the data. And when you don't know the data, it causes you to become a firefighter and not a traffic coordinator. But you lose that capability of managing your service desk. When you look at it as a whole, that's your biggest time consumption is their firefighting ability and how quick they can put the fire out because there's another fire that's going. But what we don't talk about when you're a reactive MSP is what it's going to get to discover all the smaller fires. What are the fires that you don't even know about yet? And when are they going to get to the point that they blow up? And it could be something as simple as a CVE that was put out a year ago, but your technicians aren't comfortable updating that Exchange server or updating the firmware on this. Getting the data that you need in the areas that your technicians look is the crucial piece that flips the switch and ultimately allows you to streamline your service desk. Let's switch over to slide 10, and I'm going to pass it back over to Morgan.
Yeah, absolutely right there, Scott. The phrase "time is money" comes to mind when you're spending your time putting out those fires. Ultimately, it might be indirect or it might be direct. But as an MSP, you're losing out on an opportunity to move a sale forward, or it might result in bad client relations. And being reactive, it's all about being proactive versus being reactive. So yeah, I think that's a really good point. And you mentioned it earlier as well about this is the initial iteration of the integration, and it's going to be your guys' feedback, the customer's feedback on how we're going to improve this. The big point that we have at HaloPSA is the development changes that we make are development changes that people want to see. We don't develop stuff for the sake of doing it. That it's way too time consuming to do that. So we make sure that we align our dev changes with what clients really want and really need. And the Liongard integration is no exclusion to that rule. So the more feedback you guys can provide, the quicker we're going to make this integration even more powerful than it already is. To those people that want to know a little bit more about HaloPSA, you can email me directly should you wish. That's morgan.aspinall@halopsa.com. Or you'll see there we have a sales address. If you wanted to schedule a demo with us, someone would be happy to accommodate. Yeah.
That's great. And we actually do have some questions here.
Awesome.
If we want to take those. So someone would like to know, after the Liongard integration, what can we see about the asset that we add?
Sure, yeah. I'll share my screen for that piece.
Perfect.
So that goes back to the field mapping table that we saw earlier. So if I jump back into the Liongard integration, this will compose the data that we'll see on the asset. So if you don't add anything into this field mapping table, it won't pull the data in. So I would always advise extracting as many of the Liongard fields as you have at your disposal by establishing mappings for them.
Mm-hmm.
Once the assets have been imported, and if we jump over to the assets module, we'll see all of those different environments here. Once the asset has been imported, we'll be able to see that information down here. So the more mappings you have, the more information is included against that asset. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
Yep.
I do want to jump in real quick, Cynthia.
Surprise, surprise, Guy. All right,
I know,
go
right?
ahead.
I think the one thing to remember is this is, that first iteration of it. So right now, when I look at it, it is a very high level. It's really inventory type purposes. Giving that feedback back to HaloPSA, sharing your feedback with Liongard, we can build that additional data. In Liongard, the important thing is making sure your metric display is turned on. If the metric display is not turned on, it's not available to third-party parties like HaloPSA or other third-party API integrations. But look for a lot of improvements in this area and being able to capture more of that data in. So right now it's really high level, like you're seeing on the screen here, but a lot more is coming.
Very good. Bo had asked about, and I think this was in your example about the domains. He said, where is the domain stored? Is it in Liongard or in HaloPSA?
So what Liongard is doing, so your domain's registered with the domain registrar. Liongard's capturing data from the public whois information. So we're pulling down your DNS records, et cetera, from public resources. Liongard is storing that, and then Liongard is sharing that information with HaloPSA, and Halo is storing it within their system as well. So you'll actually have the full depth of data, configuration tracking, the actionable alerts, the change log, and everything inside of Liongard, and you'll have that inventory asset stored inside of HaloPSA.
Very good. Was there anything that you needed to add there, Morgan?
No. I think that answers the question perfectly.
All right, perfect. And then can someone explain how actionable alerts or actionable events will trigger tickets in Halo?
Yeah, so inside your Liongard actionable alerts, and John, if you want to share your screen again for me, if not, it's okay. So inside actionable alerts, there's 4 different tabs that you're going to see. You're going to see rules, silenced alerts or silence rules, templates, and environments. When I look at the template tab, that is what is designating where certain alerts are going to go. So if I go ahead and I click new alert template or new template, scroll up a little bit, and I can go ahead and create, say test Halo. And then my for field, I'm going to choose HaloPSA and Liongard, or Liongard and HaloPSA. That for field is what designates where the alerts are going to go. So if you have one that you want all the alerts turned on, you probably want that just to save it inside Liongard, because you don't want to bombard your ticketing system. Or say, for example, I want, instead of a test one, this is an escalations queue, and I only want to choose the escalations. Then in that next field for destination, you choose actually the ticket queue that you wanted to go into. So if it's escalations, I'm going to drop that into the second line of support. If it's a standard alert, I may have an alerts queue set up that all my default alerts go into. And then you also have the capability of tying this into Microsoft Teams as part of a notification system. If it is a higher level alert, usually, dropping that into Teams, letting everyone know that, hey, this just changed. And again, that could be someone opening up port 3389, turning off intrusion detection, disabling a antivirus program on a computer, or a new user is being created as a domain admin. So being able to capture that data, this is where you would do it inside of Liongard to set those templates, and then it goes to that destination.
Very good. Did you want to add anything there, Morgan?
I think, yeah, it might be beneficial to just show what it looks like in Halo once the tickets have landed in. So I'll share my screen for that portion.
That's what I was thinking too, but I didn't want to put you on the spot.
I was there. Right, let me share my screen. So yeah, in HaloPSA, you have your different ticket queues. You can actually have distinct ticket areas in here. So, touching on what Scott just said there, you might want an entire separate area for your alerts. We could go ahead and create one of those. But you'll see a list of your tickets in the system. These are the queues that you just saw within Liongard, and they correspond to the teams that your technicians sit within in the MSP in HaloPSA. Now, if we were to head into a queue, we can see a list of all of the tickets in that queue with a series of columns of the core information that we need to see regarding that ticket. All of this information, all of these columns are fully customizable. So we can just hit the three dots at the top here, and we can edit our columns to add new information to our column profile, or reorder those columns should we wish. You might have noticed there, you can also change your view. You know, if you wanted to look at Kanban, not so useful here because they all have the same status, but you can imagine, you know, as you're working on these different alerts, some are in progress, some are waiting feedback, some are scheduled. So you can have a different Kanban view, or a tile view, should you wish. So there's different ways that you can view those tickets in the system. And if we just click into one, so I'm gonna, let me close this and go back to our table view. And we'll just click into that top one. We'll see that alert template that you've configured in Liongard. And we'll also see some peripheral information regarding the ticket. So this has come in as critical, and as such, we can see our SLA time remaining. This one isn't too great, but hopefully your technicians would action these a little bit quicker. You'll also see down here, if another technician is currently viewing this ticket, you'll get a little pop-up. So you can see who's working on what at any given time. And then a series of options along the top here, which again are fully customizable. So we can establish different actions. You know, we can schedule an appointment, which could sync over to your Outlook calendar, or we could even run a PowerShell script directly from Halo if you had that configured. So yeah.
Very good. All right. Someone had asked about, you know, where to find the API, and I dropped a link in for our doc site for Liongard, and specifically the area about installing the HaloPSA, just so people can kind of see what that looks like. And then Morgan, if y'all want to share maybe your demo link there in the chat as well. I don't see any other questions. Anything top of mind for you, Morgan or Scott, just about things that you're like, oh, we should have talked about that. Oh, and look, you've got API documentation too. This is beautiful.
Yes, yeah. Let me pop that in the chat right now. There we go. Cool.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I would say the one thing kind of in closing that, you know, those that I have showed that are Halo customers that they've really liked, and Morgan, if you can drive back over to the HaloPSA, is when you go into the company level, right up top, there's already that button that takes you right to the Liongard data. So being able to get right into so go to your companies, open in Liongard. So being able for your technician, they're looking at a client for an issue that may be going on, opening up Liongard with a single click, going into Liongard. And when we talk about technical support, when you open up in Liongard, rerunning those inspectors so that you're getting a fresh data input allows you to troubleshoot faster. You know, it may take 5 minutes to run, but how long would it take your technician to try to log in and then start diagnosing? Is it the firewall? Is it the switch? You know, why is Bob in accounting saying no one's able to do anything again? You know, that's the real power when you look at combining the two tools. The quick, the ease, the availability for your service desk to have the information in front of them to work faster, more efficiently, and ultimately close more tickets.
Okay, I just got a good juicy question. I love this. Okay, does domain/asset information sync bidirectionally? If I remove a domain on either Halo or Liongard, will it be removed from the other platform?
Scott,
I'm going to say I'm going to say no. So Liongard data, when we push out via API, it's typically in a read-only sense. And with HaloPSA, there is a trigger inside of HaloPSA when you go into the integration setup that you can actually say, if I delete the customer from HaloPSA, to delete the customer there as well. Integrations.
So that's just down here when syncing customers to Liongard. So yeah.
Where you actually terminate that sync. So that's one nice thing, being able to kind of do that. But as far as like the internet domain specifically, if you delete it from HaloPSA, it's not going to delete it from Liongard.
All right, very good. Does Liongard support MFA?
Liongard supports multi-factor authentication, the capability of forcing MFA. We also support SAML 2.0 SSO. The nice thing with our SSO integration, in my opinion, is you can exclude users from it. And you immediately are thinking, wait, why is that a nice thing? It's because if you have that co-managed customer that wants to manage their data, see their data inside Liongard, you can have them set up with MFA without setting them up in your SSO environment. And we don't charge a tax for SSO. It's included with every plan.
Very good. All right. Let's see if we get any more questions. Oh yes, co-managed support is really appreciated. My old MSP did a lot of co-managed, so it's yeah, that's fantastic. Morgan, any last little bits that you want to add in?
I would just draw home that point of you know, you guys are going to be using these platforms, and you'll be the people who will have the best ideas for further improvements on the integrations from both ends. So feedback is very much welcome, and like I say, that's going to drive the integration and HaloPSA forward. So yeah, I'm
And
looking forward
actually,
to. Sorry.
I will drop a link. Liongard actually has an ideas portal. I don't know if that's something too that Halo has, or if y'all are just taking it directly, but I did go ahead and drop in our ideas portal there as well. So as people start to use this, feel free to give your ideas and your feedback to Halo directly, and also through our ideas portal.
Cool. Yeah, for Halo, existing customers can go to the self-service portal and log requests that way. If you're a trialing customer, then yeah, it's that sales at HaloPSA who you want to reach out to.
Perfect. All right. If we don't have any more questions, going once, going twice. Oh, Scott and his beard have reappeared. That is great. All right, Scott, what is the one takeaway that you want everyone to leave here with? And then Morgan, I'll have you do the same thing and we will say adios.
You know, I think the one takeaway is, you know, constantly look at your policies and your procedures and look at ways that you can automate that. That is one of the biggest struggles that I think every MSP goes through. And I remember going through it when I was an MSP. And not just going through it once, but going through it 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, because we're always looking at how we can streamline and do better so that our service technicians don't have to be the Google kings or queens and know exactly how and what phrase to search inside Google. When you can put the information at the fingertips of those technicians, it doesn't matter if it's their second day or if they're the seasoned veteran that's already in L3. Being able to put that link there saves them 5 to 10 minutes of just finding the link or finding the document they're looking for. Putting the information of what they need to know inside the body of the ticket adds them where they're now not having to search for that information. So utilize the tools that you have available either in your set today, or look at Liongard to enhance and grow that capability and put the data at the fingertips for the technicians that need it. Because when they have access to that data, your service department is going to be less stressed. They're going to be able to sit down on the beach without pulling their hair out, instead of that guy from the slide I showed you pulling his hair out. You know, they're going to be able to relax and enjoy themselves. And it creates a better work environment for them too, where they don't have to be the documentation kings. They don't have to remember and have this long bookmark list of all these different bookmarks they utilize. Put the data at their fingerprints and you will see improvements in your service delivery. Morgan? Yeah,
I think I would just touch on that same point. You know, the HaloPSA is a really powerful tool, but it's only as powerful as the data it receives, right? So it's about that cleanliness of data in the system and plugging everything in so you as an MSP can run as efficiently as possible. And that extends beyond just the information that you have in HaloPSA itself. You know, obviously within the PSA, you need to make sure that You have your processes mapped out for swift instant resolution, and tracking all of the relevant data points that you need to track it. And there's that side of it, and the purely HaloPSA side of things, but it goes beyond that, and it goes to a point of integrating the systems that you have at your disposal all into one centralized platform, and then you have the scope to extract data from not only one system but from multiple, and it's going to be being able to access that data that's going to allow you as an MSP to get to the next step in your progress, in my opinion.
That's awesome.
My humble opinion at that.
All right. We've got 4 minutes left. We have one more question that came in that Scott can answer. And so Salvador was wondering if there was a minimum number of customer environments for Liongard. So what that threshold is when you come in.
So when you go to liongard.com/pricing, there are a lot of different options that we do have. There is no technical minimum commit. We do like to see right around that 15 mark as a minimum. But the big value of Liongard, when you bring more of your customers in, you're standardizing it across all of the customers. When I started with Liongard, I started with just my fully managed, that premier, that platinum, the gold tier of clients. And what I found was the inequalities of those non-gold clients, but it wasn't the inequality, it was more of a disadvantage my support team had in supporting them. By bringing Liongard in across the board for all of my customers, minus the break fixes that didn't pay me anything anyways, by bringing it in across the board of all of my managed contracts, I standardized the documentation and I standardized the support process. And that is where I saw true service efficiency and operational advantage was being gained.
Awesome.
So I also saw a question, IT glue is not required.
Thank you. That was my next question. So yeah,
we can go, you can continue to use the knowledge base within Halo. And if you have a URL for the document inside Halo, you can drop that inside of the Liongard actionable alert. So again, the technician doesn't have to search Halo for it.
And we do also integrate with Hoodoo. That came up there in the chat too.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody who came today to listen. And we'll make sure to send you a follow-up email so that you can review the recording if you have more questions. And please book those demos and talk to our teams either at HaloPSA or at Liongard about how we can just help your MSP run more efficiently. All right. Now
Thank you for having me.
Say bye.
Ta-ra.
Thank you.
Bye.